Oh boy, Talladega was worth the price of admission for sure. Plus, the playoff drivers felt the wrath of the 2.5-mile track. And what is it like to work pit road at the baddest track on the circuit?
NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spake.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. We made it through Talladega. Well, we made it through Talladega. A lot of the playoff drivers did not make it through Talladega. We're going to update you on all the guys that had issues. There was just one who did not have an issue yesterday in Talladega. We'll tell you who that is. Plus, my goodness, if you didn't love this race, we had a spoiler win the race. We had a photo finish. We had 4 wide. At one point, I looked at the television and I couldn't believe it. It looked like it was a video game playing out in front of me with the way that those cars looked on the racetrack. It was so exciting. We're going to break it all down. Plus, Welch is going to join us. He was on the call yesterday for MRN. We're going to find out what it was like to be at the infield care center when some of those guys came out. A lot of disappointment for sure. But first, let's show you how the race was won by one Ricky Stenhouse Jr., getting his 4th career win. Here's Lee Diffie on the call.
The Built Submarines car is in front, but for how much longer? Here comes Ricky Stenhouse Jr. through the tri-oval. Keselowski down low. Stenhouse high. Byron goes for it on the outside.
Good work, dude. Let's see if we get it.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
He sounded so calm in there, right? He's like, did we get it? 18th different winner in 2024, which is tied for 2nd most all time through 31 races. How exciting it was for that team. Also the 9th driver in 2024 to break a winless streak of at least 42 races. Listen up, Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. There's still plenty of time to do it. Why don't we hear what Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had to say when he climbed from the car?
Really good. We had our, Chevy teammates behind us, and I was hoping Kyle wasn't going to push the 6 that hard. I knew that 24 was probably going to try and, get to the line there, but man, this team has put a lot of hard work in. Obviously, we haven't won since the 523, and it's been an up and down season. It was a lot of hard work this season, just trying to find a little bit of speed, but we knew that, this track is one of ours to come get.
That's right. I would say Stenhouse is Mr. Super Speedway for sure. All 4 of his wins have come on super speedways. 2 at Daytona, of course, the Daytona 500 most recently, and now 2 at Talladega. So congratulations to Ricky. He also had a really cute visitor in Victory Lane via the phone. So we'll show you what we mean by that tomorrow in social. Oh, there it is. You don't even have to wait till Social Speedway. We popped it up, but maybe we'll show you a little bit more tomorrow. Oh, there it is. Of course, that's his son. The son and his wife, Madison, were not at the racetrack yesterday. Bummer. That would have been a great picture, but we'll show you that again in Social Speedway. It's going to be a big show tomorrow for sure. Big day for playoff drivers, but not in a good way because many of them had issues. 11, in fact, had issues. William Byron was the only one that didn't. We'll start here with Daniel Suarez. He started in the back of the field because unapproved adjustments. Then he was wrecked on lap 13 while trying to blend into the field. And of course, ultimately, he was one of the 28 drivers that was taken out in that lap 185 crash, the big one that we saw with 5 to go. Ryan Blaney, also major issues, the defending series champion, also a 3-time winner at Talladega. He got wrecked on lap 122 with Alex Bowman, I should say, not William Byron. He made it through. He's fine. He's actually clinched his way to the round of 8. But of course, then we had the big one, 5 to go. Take a look. We always know that this is going to happen at Talladega, but it doesn't even look real when you watch that play out. It's insanity right there. Let's circle back to Ryan Blaney and to Alex Bowman. Ryan was not happy when he came out of the infield care center, as you can imagine. Here's what he and Alex had to say.
I don't think it was much of a push, more of just him driving through me. At like the worst spot you can drive through somebody. So, just got wrecked once again by somebody else and just ended our day, which stinks. And, have to fight back next week.
Try to take a run there on the last lap and cost ourselves a couple spots. But, I just put us in some bad spots throughout the day and didn't do my job very well. So just got to learn from it, move on, and go be strong next week at the Roval.
Yeah, still pleased with where you're at going into the Roval?
No, certainly not. We should be better. And, disappointed myself for crashing the 12. And just need to make better decisions, do a better job, and yeah, I wish we were better than that going to the Roval for sure.
All right, so took the blame right there. Bowman did finish 16th, Blaney 39th. Ouch. Let's get you updated on those playoff standings. Alex Bowman, as we just heard from him, he's 26 points to the good. He actually gained 18 points on the day. However, Ryan Blaney lost 3, dropped down 4 spots. He's now in 6th. You got William Byron, who's locked in on points. Christopher Bell, 57 to the good. Kyle Larson, 52 to the good going into the Roval. And then there's Chase Elliott and Joey Logano, who are sort of hugging that line right now. And of course, we head to the Roval this upcoming weekend, where we know once again anything can happen. And the Cup Series, not the only series that the playoff picture is getting a little bit clearer. We had all 3 series in action this weekend. Truck Series, Grant Enfinger getting the big victory out there at Talladega. They have 2 to go in their round of 8 before they drop down to just 4. So Grant Enfinger is now locked in with this big win. Take a look at that. You always love when you win at Talladega. Truck looks good, doesn't it? What about the Xfinity Series? We've got some updates on that as well. They have 1 to go in the Xfinity Series. Sammy Smith getting the victory. And Smith, that would be Sammy and Chandler. They're both locked in because Chandler Smith is locked in on points headed to the next weekend's race. Cole Custer, 37 to the good. AJ Allmendinger and Justin Allgaier are hugging that cutoff line with Justin Allgaier below the line right now. It's been a really long time since I've been on pit road. I've covered many races at Talladega, and it's always exciting. One guy who knows exactly what that like is Dylan Welch. He was there yesterday for MRN, also a pit reporter for NBC Sports. I appreciate you waking up early. I know yesterday was crazy. Which pit stalls did you have yesterday? Who were the guys that you were covering?
I was in pit in, so I had Blaney, and I had Logano, and I had Bowman. I think that was it for my playoff guys, but guys that looked good for a long time, and then as often happens at Talladega, it all went bad in a hurry.
That's exactly right. Listen, I don't think people realize how difficult those infield care center interviews are. Those guys get out of the car. In other sports, they get time to take showers, kind of relax, decompress, and you're getting them right away. I know that you told me right before we came on that you did a lot of those infield care center interviews. What's that like for a reporter to kind of have to balance that disappointment and still asking the tough questions?
Yeah, it's hard. And I used to race myself, and certainly have been in a situation before where I've crashed and had a microphone stuck in my face, and it's not fun. So, I always try to be, as I think we all do, try to be sensitive of exactly what you said. These guys are minutes off of going 200 miles an hour, and their adrenaline's high, and they're mad because they're not racing anymore. So you sometimes just have to get them to say something. Sometimes you feel like you know what happened. Sometimes you don't really know. And it's always more important, I think, to just let them tell us what really happened. So that's what I try to do is let them explain the situation. And, yesterday with the big crash, I interviewed Cindric too. And obviously he was at the very front of kind of that calamity and everything that started. And, everybody's disappointed. Everybody was bummed, especially those guys like Austin and Blaney, who were, had cars that probably could have won the race, and Logano too. All the Penske cars were so good yesterday. They were all pretty bummed. And I think going to the Roval this week, when you have an opportunity like those 3 cars had, and you had a car like those 3 guys had, to not be able to even finish and just get some points out of the day, is extra disappointing. And they were definitely bummed about that yesterday.
11 of the 12 playoff drivers had issues yesterday. Crazy. William Byron's the only one that snuck through. Before I let you go, I have to give you and your dad a shout out, right? So I've worked with your dad, Vince. I have some pictures. So Dad sent me some pictures, Dylan. I've known Vince since 2005. We worked a soapbox derby together in 2005. So essentially, I have known you since you were 10 or 11 years old. And now to see you doing this, obviously we followed your racing career when you were younger. He used to talk about you all the time. So proud. And now obviously proud to be with you on pit road from time to time. What was it like for you to kind of get into this business with good old Dad, and how much of a support system is he?
He's been awesome. And I was exposed to the broadcasting stuff from a really young age, and even not so much the racing side of the broadcasting, just because it was, more difficult for me to to travel to races and stuff. So I went to a lot of basketball games with him, when I was younger, and would sit courtside and have a headset on, and just was kind of exposed to that environment, and was always just really interested in it. And then obviously, was able to kind of translate, or transfer my love for racing into it later. But it's been awesome to have him to lean on, and Shannon, just how many things that maybe the general public doesn't see that makes this job difficult or unique. And having Dad to just bounce questions off of, bounce ideas off of, pick his brain on, hey, what do you think about, how should I handle this situation? How should I ask this question? That sort of thing. It's been an invaluable resource for me, for sure. And I was so glad to get to have him at Bristol a few weeks ago. He was my pit spotter for our NBC telecast. And I think, I don't know if there was anybody who shook more hands or gave more hugs than him, besides maybe Dale Jr. He was just so happy to be back, and everybody was, all his crew chief buddies that he was friends with through the years were excited to see him, which was cool for me to see. So it was one of those good for the soul moments, for sure.
Well, I was one of those people that gave your dad a hug, for sure. And listen, I think you do a fantastic job on pit road. I think you're excellent at what you do. So thank you for taking a few minutes to join us. And of course, Dylan_Welch is where you can find Dylan on social media. Follow him. He'll be at Vegas on pit road for NBC, and we'll hear you on MRN as well. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Shannon. Appreciate it.
Listen, okay, I know that this is a NASCAR show. However, I had to go here. The Alabama Crimson Tide, we were in Talladega, so it kind of fits, right? They lost this weekend, if you hadn't heard, to Vandy. All right, biggest win in Vanderbilt history for sure, 40-35. Of course, Alabama was ranked number 1. Vandy was not ranked. Take a look at this. Can you see right there? This is not the draft at Talladega, ladies and gentlemen. These are the fans. They grabbed the goalpost. They walked it down Broadway in Nashville. 3 miles, they walked it to the Cumberland River, and then they threw it in the river. I guess when you have a big win like this, you can do this. I don't know if you can. You can't, actually. They got fined $100,000, and I did look up the price of a goalpost, and it's another couple $1,000s. So they've got some work to do before they have another home game, for sure. But hey, celebrate that big win. Larry McReynolds probably not happy that the Crimson Tide lost, but hey, you can't win them all, can you? We can, though, because tomorrow we've got Social Speedway. It's going to be a big show. Can't wait to get you caught up on everything that happened. We have some very cute kid stuff. And congratulations once again to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Brad Doherty, and that entire team. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spake.